Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about a fantastic miniseries called Defenders Beyond, written by Al Ewing and Javier Rodriguez, and with some pretty fantastic art by Joe Caramagna. And the really cool thing about this series is that it picks up where Al Ewing had left off with Ultimates 2, where he really builds up the mythos and the cosmology of the Marvel Universe itself. So without further ado, let's get into this. So the story actually starts off, we have Loki from the 7th iteration of the Marvel Universe. He was able to escape the multiversal collapse that led to the Secret Wars crossover and the rebirth of the Marvel Universe to its 8th iteration. And what happens is he actually finds his way to the 6th iteration of the Marvel Universe, where he meets the mother of Galactus, Taya. I have no idea what's the deal with Galactus' mom. It seems that she is the scientist supreme of her reality and has crossed paths with Stephen Strange in the past. The thing is that when he was escaping the collapse, he came across this entity that was above everything, called the Dominion. It seemed to be real bad news. He was not really sure, and this is going to be like the main focus of the series, is trying to find out what the hell is the Dominion in the first place. This whole concept of the Dominion is going to be a big thing during the Krakoan age of the X-Men. Jonathan Hickman's going to reference it quite a bit during his run, and at the end of the Krakoan era, it will play a very big role. So it's super cool to see how all these series are tied together, and we have at least 3 or 4 different writers that actually touch on this new concept. The story actually starts off with Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, who is actually going through Doctor Strange's things. It seems that Doctor Strange has died. I'm pretty much in the dark what happened with Mr. Strange during this time. The thing is that Adam Brashear is going through his things. He's curating all his belongings. It seems he has been tasked with taking care of all of his most important stuff. His base of operations is pretty well hidden away at the bottom of the ocean, and he's crazy powerful. I guess someone would think twice trying to steal from Blue Marvel. While going through his stuff, he comes across one particular item that's going to be pretty important for the story, the Mask of Eternity. I am not familiar with this particular artifact, but the thing is that anyone who puts it on, their power levels are going to go up and be the same as the one they're confronting. And another really important thing that Bashir comes across is a stack of tarot cards. So as he's going through Strange's stuff, there's actually this orb where we have like a magical recording of Doctor Strange telling him what to do with each one of these objects. And when he gets to his tarot cards, the recording actually tells him, look, start pulling out cards from this stack. Basically, you're going to have to form a new team because there's a new threat out there in the multiverse. I sort of did not have time to address this threat. Also, as this magical recording progresses, Doctor Strange's face starts looking a little bit like Eternity. It seems that this insanely powerful abstract entity, which is the embodiment of the universe itself, really wants to build up this small task force to find out what's out there beyond the multiverse. It is really interesting, the lineup that we're going to get through each one of these tarot cards. So we're going to get America Chavez, who Adam Brashear has worked with previously on the Ultimates. Then we're going to get Loki, the one that I mentioned earlier in this video from the 7th iteration of the Marvel Universe, where instead of being the god of lies, he has converted into the god of stories. And one interesting thing about this version of Loki is that he seems to transition through male and female during this whole story. I'm not sure why this happens with Loki, but the thing is, but this is nothing new with Loki. Like, I remember when Asgard came back from Ragnarok in the 2000s, he posed as Lady Sif for a really long time, where that female version of Loki was pretty interesting. And then we had the Loki from Earth X, Paradise X, and Universe X. I think I got the order wrong, but the thing is, that particular Loki had no gender. Also, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the true mythological Loki 2 would flip-flop between genders. Then we had Taya, the mother of Galactus, joins in on the fun. And last but not least, we have Tigra. It's pretty interesting because in the case of Tigra, like, we're going through this fascinating cosmic story, and Tigra seems to be way out of her league during this whole story. And this really reminded me of a Avengers miniseries that we got in the early 2000s called Avengers Infinity, where we had this insanely powerful Avengers lineup deal with this multiversal cosmic threat. And Tiger played a pretty important role in that story too. So basically, it seems that Eternity has recruited this whole team. He immediately shoots out the team to these planes of existence beyond himself. And the team immediately find themselves plopped right in the middle of the place where the Beyonders inhabit. So now we get the origins of the Beyonders, and here Al Ewing really goes back to all the stuff that he was working on during his Ultimates run. So he starts talking about the first firmament, the first iteration of the Marvel Universe, where we had these dark celestials called the Aspirants, which all they did was basically idolize the first firmament and do nothing else. A fraction of these celestials decide to try to experiment with the universe, to experiment with life. They become these colored celestials, the ones that we know. We get this civil war between these two warring factions, which ends up destroying the first firmament. We get the second iteration of the Marvel Universe. And two things happen in this second iteration of the Marvel Universe. First, there's too much going on. We have the birth of the multiverse. Due to the experimentation that the Celestials are doing, the multiverse is just way too crazy. This leads to its early demise. And the other thing that the Celestials do are they create the Beyonders to actually keep themselves in check. They are pretty much a failsafe to stop the Celestials to ever going to war with each other ever again. They are sort of like caretakers of reality. So now we have the Defenders in this pocket reality where the Beyonders live, which is actually made of what was left of the second iteration of the Marvel Universe. It is literally an engine of creation. It basically keeps the universe running. So the Beyonders are pretty surprised that the Defenders have arrived. And the really interesting thing is that the Beyonders explain why they destroyed the seventh iteration of the Marvel Universe. They actually tell Adam Bashir, look, it was a controlled demolition, that they were trying to actually stop the manifestation of the Dominion. They don't explain why, but they seem threatened that the existence of the Dominion might cause them some trouble. So the Defenders actually tell them, look, let us pass through your reality, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of what the hell this Dominion is. And the Beyonders are not really cool with this situation. We get a pretty awesome battle where Adam Bashir, since he's made out of antimatter, he really can hurt the Beyonders. I also love how Loki uses his powers. It's very meta. As the god of stories, he can control the narrative in very creative ways. The thing is, they find where all the energy to this engine comes from. It seems to be a portal to a higher realm. And the really cool thing is, when they jump through, they end up in the white hot room, the place of origin of the Phoenix. So this is such a cool concept. So the engine that keeps everything running of reality is fueled by the white hot room. But we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.